Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Speedway Stories. I'm your host, Wally, with my co host, Mr. Johnny Bongs. Tonight, guys, we have a special guest that tried to get up last week on the show after his big win and everything else over at Dennis Anderson's Spring Fling. But the gentleman, of course, like the rest of us, has work and he was able to join us tonight. Let's bring up Mr. Philip Hall Jr.
Hey guys, how you doing?
How's it
Good
going, buddy?
evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight, man.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited to hear about your nice adventure and big win that you had a couple weekends ago
yes,
there at
sir.
Dennis Anderson's. If you would like to, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the whole racing and everything over there at the Springs Fling and stuff.
Sounds good. Well, my name's Philip Hall Jr. Out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm 25 years old, and I've been around tough truck racing and mud racing probably since about 2012, I'd say. Uh, we just travel up and down the East Coast mainly and hit some mud bogs and wherever I can kind of fit in and get my Jeep to. We just go and race and have fun, man. Nothing too
Heck yeah.
crazy.
Morgan, we will get to the story behind the picture and the backdrop of Philip. We'll get into that here in a little bit. So, how many years have you actually been racing tough truck at Dennis Anderson's show, man? I'm excited
Well,
to hear.
some may know, I started out with my buddies Brad, Robbie, Chris, my dad, and a few other people that we hang out with. And I earned the name because I used to always ask a bunch of people if I could race their trucks. My dad always said that I had to earn my way, so I always worked on his and everything, and I always tried to squeeze my way into any other driver's seat that I could. So back in the day, I met up with Robbie and Brad, and they had helped my dad build his cage and his tough truck, and they had came up with a nickname for me, Tough Truck Tommy, because Robbie and Brad always said I looked like Tommy Boy back in the day. So I started out racing Robbie's truck.
That's where that came from. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2017 was the first time I got in an actual tough truck, but I've been driving and wheeling junkyard trucks, cars, my personal daily driver vehicles, and all that stuff since, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old. And then before that, it was racing lawnmowers and go-karts and dirt bikes and anything I could get my hands on with a motor, pretty much.
Heck yeah, man. You're like sound like me come around. My actual first taste of everything for motorsports was dirt track racing and stuff, and truck and tractor pulling for me, and then it progressed to where everything's at. Oh, got a little thing here for you up here. If you can read the comments, your dad said, "Proud of my boy."
Yes, sir. Wouldn't be where
Hey,
I'm
man.
at without him.
That's awesome. But yeah, oh, look at this. Speak of the devil from Japan, my man. Good
Oh,
old
no.
Brad. Heck yeah, dude. This is awesome. So this year, with racing and everything else, you pretty much got, other than suspension and stuff, under your Jeep 4 liter, straight the
Full-
inline six.
I'll give you the full rundown. So we
Okay.
started out the truck as a 92 Jeep Cherokee. I actually, funny story. You want to hear a little backstory? I got a funny one. For you.
Oh,
This
definitely.
This
Definitely.
one's real
Let's
good.
share it with
So-
everybody, man.
So let's say 2 years ago, I had my buddy named Josh working for me. Well, Josh never liked waking up on time for work and showing up to work on time. So normally I'd have to go wake Josh up. So let's backtrack a few hours that morning. I wake up, handle all my stuff, check my emails, scroll through Facebook Marketplace like everybody does about 6 o'clock in the morning. And Tough Truck Tommy, what's up, Josh? Basically, the first thing that popped up on my suggested in my Facebook was this truck behind me right here. Except when it popped up, the ad stated for parts only, will run, but the ignition is ripped out of it. So first thought, I was like, oh, this thing's stolen. But no big deal. You know what I mean? We're going to tough truck race it. Well, let's check it out. Guy had it posted for $1,200. I messaged him. I said, will the motor turn over with a pipe? He said, yes. I said, why are you selling it? And, what's the deal? Can I jump start it and drive it on a trailer? He's like, yeah, it runs. You just need to put a screwdriver in the slide lock for the ignition and fire it up. I said, perfect. I'm on my way. I
Nice.
texted him, and we wheeled and dealed at first. I hit him at like 850. He ate it. And then he's like, well, here's the thing. He's like, I got to get rid of this thing today. So you got to come now, because I was going to plan for the weekend. I said, I can come now for $650. I said, I will hook the trailer. This is 6:25 in the morning. I'm telling you,
Oh
this
my
deal
goodness.
was made within 3 minutes. I found it at 6:18. I texted my buddy Josh at 6:20, and I had the deal locked in and the trailer hooked up by 6:30.
Damn. That's fishing and hooking real quick, man.
That is my everyday routine, is scroll on Facebook Marketplace as soon as I wake up, see if I can find something I can wheel and deal real quick. Well, let's jump forward. Josh, my buddy Josh, I get the deal made. I hop in the truck. I'm blowing up his phone. I'm talking, I got to say, there was probably every bit of 40 phone calls that morning. And Josh only lived about 5 minutes from where I was living at that time.
Okay.
So that's a lot of phone calls. So I get to Josh's house and knock on his front door. Nobody answers. His dogs are going crazy. And his dogs are the type that you don't walk into their house or else you're going to get what's coming to you.
You're going to be eaten.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, how do I get this boy up? How do I get this boy up? Well, come to find out, his brother had just texted me back. Josh was just out of high school. His brother was in high school in his last year. He texted me and said, hey, Josh moved his bedroom. It's downstairs. Just walk around the corner of the house and beat on the window. I said, oh, things could not have lined up better. Well, I get over to Josh's bedroom window and I start beating on the window. Well, here comes the dogs. Here comes Josh. Josh rolls over, and this man gives me the most like eat crap look you would ever imagine. It is 6:35, 6:40 in the morning, and he is looking at me, picks up his phone, looks back at me, and says, I quit. I was like, okay, that's fine. You could quit, but you could quit at the end of the day. I said, I need you. Look at your phone. I said, I need your base pass. I need you to come with me. This is where the story gets even better. I got Josh up. He saw the deal. I explained everything to him. He said, okay, I don't quit anymore. This is a good deal. This was worth it. Let's go racing. I'm like, all right, cool.
Oh, yeah,
so,
dude.
We're going up to Fort Eustis from Virginia Beach. So that's about an hour and a half drive. So I get up to Fort Eustis. We get to the gate, and they ask me what I'm doing there. I said I had to come up with a quick idea because there was something fishy about the truck. So I didn't want to, throw anything out there. I said, oh, my buddy's car broke down, and he's about to move, so we're going to take it back home for him. And Josh went along with the story, too, because he has a base pass. So we get through the base gates, and we get up with our guy who's got the Jeep. And I'm sitting there talking to him. And when I bought it, it had like big 35s on it with 12-inch wide, 14-inch wide wheels. And, it looked all right when I bought it, other than the rattle can paint job.
Of course. That's usually how it is.
Yep, had a rough country short arm kit, had 1-ton steering. It was pretty much how you see it now, short of any reinforcements and the dual shocks and stuff like that. So I get over there. We make a deal. We load it up on the trailer. I ended up getting it started. I drove it on the trailer, drove it around the parking lot. May or may not have done a little burnout with it. And I'm like, all right, boss, you all drug Brad in here. The party's over now, Brad Killer. When you gonna play? Okay. So we get the truck on the trailer, and I'm like, all right, cool. I appreciate it, man. He's like, all right, you really want to know why I'm selling it now? I'm like, don't tell me you done something illegal. Do I need to go get a tarp and tarp this thing to take it home? I'm like, because we'll do what we got to do. It's $650 running.
Hell yeah.
Lifted Jeep. We're riding.
Oh yeah. Baby. You can't even touch that shit up here in Ohio. They want $600 where you can Flintstone in it, and then don't even have wheels and tires on them up here.
All right, so he whips out his phone and shows me this video. Mind you, the Facebook Marketplace ad for this thing was him doing asphalt donuts in the Jeep. So, mind you, he whips out his phone. He's going in a mud hole, climbing up these trees. And then next thing you know, the phone just pans over to this like brick building. And I don't remember exactly what the sign said, but it was like their, what do you call it when you're in the Navy and you're a superior way high up? Like they get their own house on base.
Yeah, the admirals. The admirals get them on there. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they were. He turns the fan and zooms into the sign, and it's like admiral's quarters or whatever they are. It was
shit.
And as he pans over, all the lights flip on in the building. Kills the Jeep. And this is like maybe a minute and a half long video. They were doing donuts. They were doing everything. So they kill the Jeep, keep the video running, but they're not filming anymore. It's just like down by their legs, and they're running through the woods, screaming like, "Oh my God, we're gonna get fired," or whatever you do in the Navy, discharge or whatever it's called.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh no!" Yeah, he puts the phone down and he's like, "Don't tell a soul." I was like, "You just told the wrong person for that." I said, "This thing's got a story now." So,
hell yeah, it does.
And mind you, this thing, I'm telling you, for $650, let's go front to back. Aluminum radiator, MSD ignition coil, steering box brace, 1-ton steering, the lift kit, aftermarket shocks, slip yoke eliminator, different rear drive shaft, got the 231 swap in it already.
No shit.
Interior was ripped out, front and rear winch bumpers. I'm telling you, it had the works. I could have put a roll cage in this thing, drove it down the road, and it could have been my daily crawler. Like, it was great. The only bad part about it is the AC didn't work, but welcome to an XJ.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
So we get it back. We get it all caged up thanks to my dad and my buddy Brad. They helped me out, got me the tubing. You know, Brad's got the bender, and he's got all the skills, and he taught my dad how to bend tubing and everything like that, and we just been rolling on with that for years. But we got it back, got it built. I got my dad to trust the axle for me because at the time I didn't even have a welder. So my welding career started not but like 3 or 4 years ago.
Gotcha.
Learned a lot along the way, and obviously, as you can tell, the cage, I did most of the welds in that cage, and it's held up over a couple rollovers at this point. So done pretty good so far. Yeah,
well,
so we
some
get
big ass air coming down.
Yeah. So we get the truck together. I race it a couple times, got a couple trophies, nothing crazy, no first place or nothing like that. And fast forward a little bit, my buddy John comes to me, and John Suits with Back Bay Auto. He is the man when it comes to making cheap horsepower. I tell you, he's got all the secrets.
Nice.
I ain't gonna tell you them all, but I can tell you what. This thing is completely class compliant where we're at right now. Everything.
Nice.
Everything is per the rules 110%. And no, I'm not just saying that because we're on a podcast. This thing, the only thing that may differ in the rules a little bit is the fact that I have a long arm kit versus a short arm kit, and I have dual shocks in the front.
Yeah, that's the only thing here in Ohio that would slap you in our modified class is the axles. That's the only thing that would put you in our modified class.
Can y'all run nitrous in the modified class?
No, that's the only shitty part.
I was gonna say if you could, I'd strap a bottle in it and we're down. Let's go.
I got a couple buddies. I'll be honest with you. They make some of these modified guys with their XJs, and they don't have no power adders, nothing. And they're consistently top 10, top 15 every race they go to with the XJs and their WJs that they got. These guys are insane.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's kind of how we are here. It's crazy because some of us guys build these things out like nuts. Like I've had really good help with deals, sponsors.
Oh yeah.
All that kind of stuff. I'm a wheeling and dealing guy. I don't like spending a lot of money, but I like wasting. You know what I mean?
Hey, we can't take it to our grave, so we might as well,
Exactly.
Right, man.
So use it for fun. Mine's fun and family.
Like everybody said when I did that freestyle in this picture. Well, what are you going to do when you break it? You didn't make enough to pay for it. I said, but look at me now. I got a sweet profile picture for Facebook, and I'm getting my name
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. So
yes, sir.
growing up, me and my dad used to always watch Monster Jam. And all I ever really wanted to do, I don't care about getting famous. I don't care about having a lot of money. I just want to have fun in life and be comfortable.
Yeah,
Kind of hard to be comfortable with a back like this, though. So
understandable.
I grew up watching
Yeah.
Monster Jam, and all I really cared about was being able to build me a truck that I could do me in, basically, be me in. And I built my tough truck in first season out. I was going to freestyle it. I was thinking about doing all kinds of crazy stunts and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? Let me get my hands in racing a little bit. Let me figure this out. And then once I realized I was actually somewhat competitive with it, I got up with my boy John, and I'll tell you a few of our secrets, but not all of them. This is a 92 Cherokee. It's got a 2001 wiring harness, a 2001 computer, 2001 transmission, but a 231J transfer case. It's got a 2001 intake. It's got the 2001 coil pack and all that stuff. It's still running a 3. So I got staggered gears right now. I just found this out the other day. The wrong way, though. I figured out. So here lately, I've been having a problem with where I drive into the field, the rear end wants to drive around me before I can ever get slowed down or anything like that. So I got a 373 in the front and a 355 in the rear. Well, in the beginning, before we got this thing wicked up, you know what I mean? And, to scream pretty good, it would work really good going into the turn because it would drive the rear end around me. I'd lock up the brakes and it'd come right around the tire.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now it's fighting me now that we got her tuned up a little bit. I'm going into the turn so fast and trying to decel so fast. The truck just wants to, kind of do its thing. But it helps.
It wants to go. It's got a mind of its own.
Exactly. But that is one thing I love about racing, and that's what I tell people. Everybody's like, why do you want to go mud racing? It costs so much money. It beats up your truck. It beats up all these parts that you're spending a bunch of money on. I said, because you will never, even in monster truck racing, you don't exactly get this because no matter what, everybody gets paid to show up in monster trucks. Not everybody gets paid to show up to race tough trucks and mud trucks.
Nope.
You go out there, you're hitting jumps, you're getting ragdolled inside the truck. Anybody can say what they want. I got a Butler race seat in mine and a Simpson hybrid and the 5-point and the whole 9. And I still get jarred in that thing every time I drive it. But that is what I love about racing tough trucks and mud trucks so much is you go out there, you get jarred up coming off a hill, and it's either collect it or ball it up and make the highlight reel for the next race. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just what I love about it so much. And then, like at Genesis, you can see your opponent pretty much the whole time because we're all pretty equal with our power. The rules are set up fairly well to where we're all, it's a good race. It's a good show to put on for the fans and everything like that. So at Genesis, you come out the corner and you're looking at your competitor unless they're broken. Pretty much. Unless they're broken, slow, or just don't know what they're doing, you're looking at them and you're lining up for that finish line jumping. What nobody understands at Dennis's is when you come out of that cornfield and you line up for that tabletop, the grade, I'll get a little bit into my grading experience for you. The grade, like basically the track where all the spectators sit, you're at ground level. The grade coming up to the tabletop is about 4 to 5 feet below that. So you're coming up to the tabletop and the spectators see like a 8 or 10 foot jump. You're looking at 14 to 16 feet of face of a jump in front of you. And you can't see the finish line. You can't see, you can see the flags, but you can't see nothing past that jump. So you're coming out the cornfield, balls to the wall, and every jump's cut different at that track. The right side sometimes is sharper, the left side sometimes sharper. And you come out of that cornfield and you're watching you and your opponent go off that hill, and right at the top you're like, man, I maybe should have checked up, but there is no time to do so. And you fly that thing and you're watching both of you fly, and then you land and you got to avoid the mud pit. This is actually something that went into speculation. If you want to hear about a little racetrack drama at the last one where I won at Dennis's 2 weeks ago. Right in the final 4. So we did let me not say this wrong. We did a top 4 shootout at Dennis's. We did 2 timed passes, and then the top 4, I believe it was, came back. Pass 1, I went out. I ran like a 25-20. It was terrible. Like to the point where I almost put my truck back on the trailer. Terrible. I was so upset at it. I had finished last season with, I think I ran a 19 or a 20-second pass at the end of last year. And I went out, ran that pass. I told my fiance, I said, if this thing does not work the next round like it should, I said, I'm putting it on the trailer and we're finishing the mega truck. I ain't touching it again. So I kind of got my wits about me again. And I went out there and I figured it out that with the way that we're getting these things faster and everything, the transmissions are not learning like they should. They're great transmissions. There's the best transmission Jeep ever made. AW4 is the strongest thing. And I'll tell you another funny story about why I know it's the strongest transmission. Only a few people in this group know the story I'm going to tell after this one. So when you take off from the line, these things will, if you put them in drive, they'll lock up about most of the way through second gear, and then they'll lock up to third gear. Lock up torque motor, that is. So what I figured out with mine is I got a 2001 transmission. So the shift pattern, I believe, is a 1, 2, 3 overdrive is drive, basically, if you're manually shifting it. So I found out that at Dennis's, you got to keep shifting it. You got to start in low gear. You got to bang drive. I have first gear locked out in every Jeep that I own because there's no reason to do it. I don't want to go 15 feet and shift. I'd rather carry out the gear. You know what I mean? These things are better up top, not down low. So carry out the gear. And at Dennis's, I go 2, 3, and then right before it locks up in 3, I bang drive. So then it unlocks the converter, flares, and by about that time, I'm getting into the corner. And if I drop it back down in the corner, it'll flare again when I get back on the gas, and it'll bring me up to the RPM range I want. Probably, somewhere around 2,000 is where they start making power, I'd say. Something like that. Or at least that's what it feels like.
Good, man.
So what I've also figured out is if I don't shift it in the turn, by the time I get down into the turn and I have locked up the brakes and I'm trying to get around the turn, for some reason it locks the torque converter. So when it downshifts back down in the second, it's just it's terrible.
Yeah, it fucking bogs itself out.
So terrible. It slowed me down over 2 seconds between my first and second pass at Dennis's. I ran a 25-20 at Dennis's first round. Second round, I came out and smoked it, 23.02.
Nice.
We talk about this all the time. Brad,
but yeah, now I got an idea now because I've got a 99 XJ that I got for my tough truck this year. Me and my son are getting we're gonna be taking turns driving and everything, and now with the whole shifting point and stuff, it's like, yep, I got that tranny, so now I know I'm gonna give it a shot at a couple of races, see how it helps out, depending on how they set our tracks up at our local fairs and shit. So
yeah, I mean, man, I'll be honest with you, you can't beat a Jeep. I ain't no Jeep guy. Like I'll be honest, I like a Wrangler TJ. They're okay. I wouldn't mind having one of those for a beach ride or like a little daily. And I like the Cherokee. All the other Jeeps, the Grand Cherokees are okay, but
you can't beat an XJ. You can't beat an XJ.
For all around usability, let's put it this way. Hired a guy last year. He was down bad just a little bit. And I was like, look, man, I got a buddy with an XJ. We can put you in that, or we can find you a beater Honda Civic. I'll help you out with it, and then I'll just take it back and use it for racing when you're done. Well, we bought it for $650. This thing had 120,000 miles on it. But it was ragged out. No rust though, but a tree fell on it. Your dad's busting you out. hey, there's a reason there's nothing but XJs in my yard. So we bought that one for about $650, put like $100 in it, and he drove it for 9 months. Well, sorry, we as a collective drove it for 9 months.
Drove for 9 months.
And 4 months before I took it off the road, I used it as my hunting vehicle back at Brad and James Kovac's property. I got a little duck hole back there where I shoot ducks and deer and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that spot is like no more than 150 yards from where we mudballed. I don't know if you've ever seen any of our like field parties or field mud.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I've seen them on Brad's page and stuff. I'm like, dude, this is sick.
The snowball for the mega truck, all kinds of different stuff. I've brought Jeeps out there, Toyota Camrys, Honda Civics, all kinds of stuff. He went a different route. I did, but he learned a lot. Yeah, my dad raced a Grand Cherokee originally. He actually got a similar killer deal on his, except his was street worthy. You could have put his on the lot for $5 or $6 grand when he got it, but he got it. I think he got it for less than like $2,000 or something.
Damn.
Came with a long arm kit, front and rear, the whole nine. Couldn't turn it down. But I don't know, man. You can't be. Oh yeah, the mud ball field. The XJ that I bought for my employee. We started taking it over to go hunting. Well, hunting season was coming to a close. There was like a week left in it. Yep, Josh Phillips bought it right when I sold it about a month or two ago. Hunting season was coming to a close. I had my brother-in-law on the truck. And I was like, you want to know why I like these XJs so much? He's like, why? Because you can just beat the shit out of them and just they'll survive. I was like, yeah, you want to see why? I put this thing in second gear, and nobody's been out in the mud bog field for months other than me going hunting. Well, there's a lake across the whole field, like 150 feet across.
Oh, shit.
I backed this thing up to the wood line, and I'm mad at it, and we go across this freaking mud pit at 45, and then wash the windshield out, get out of the mud hole. I flip the windshield wipers on. We're still hauling, trying to get the windshield clean. Crash into this mud hole right after Brad's jump out there, and just eat the dash. I'm talking like no blood, no concussions or nothing like that, but enough to where we're hysterically laughing and cannot catch our breaths. And he's like, well, what are you going to do now? We're freaking stuck. I said, stuck? We just crashed. That doesn't mean we're stuck yet. So tried to go forward. That didn't work. Tried to go backwards. That didn't work. So, you got that back and forth motion going.
Oh, yeah.
Jeep transmissions are so strong. We were banging that thing so hard from reverse to drive that you could hear the gears popping and the spider gears stripping. And I got it out of the hole, and we started cranking donuts and drifted around the field. Oh, yeah, sorry, Josh, I didn't tell you about that part.
Busted. Yeah. He just told on himself, Josh.
Well, the funniest thing is, I sold it to Josh for $100 more than I paid for it, and he was more than happy to pay for it. And I would not take that thing down the road anymore. I sold it because I couldn't drive it for like running to get parts and stuff for work.
Right.
And I was like, I'll just list it for sale. $1,000. One of my racer buddies can have it for $700-800. Josh brings me $750. I said, where's your trailer? He said, what trailer? I'm driving it home. I said, good luck with that. That thing going down the road is freaking like steer wheel beating back and forth and everything. And the mud buster was driving it. So, yes, he was. Actually, I am very proud of Hunter from last weekend. He made it all the way into the finals. And I think the only reason he got juked or fell behind a little bit in the race was because he lost it coming out of the one turn. He was hauling the mail last weekend. I don't know if y'all know, but we had a little race up in Delmar last weekend at the 302 Mud Hop.
Yeah, I seen the post. I haven't got a chance to fully check everything out. I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of stuff between work and the kids and everything else in school right now. My two younger daughters with their schooling and everything. So,
oh damn, you got two girls?
Well, I've got 3 kids. I got my oldest is my son, and then I've got 2 girls.
Good luck with that. That's all.
Oh, trust me. My second oldest will be 18 in September, and my youngest will be 16 in September. So, the bad part is, here you go. My second oldest is a ginger, so it's even more attitude and sass.
Yeah. I grew up with 3 sisters, and they were all older than me. I'm the youngest, and I'm the only boy other than my dad. So it was definitely a crazy upbringing on that one.
Yeah,
I definitely know what it's like to be around a bunch of women all the time.
I'm the oldest out of me and my sister. When my parents divorced, it was me, my mom, and my sister. So, and then my grandma. If it wasn't for my uncle living with my grandma when I was growing up, I was outnumbered by women until I was 21. It's like I get it.
It's so much fun because, all the time women want to go mud racing. They definitely want to do that. They definitely want to shoot guns. They definitely want to work on trucks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
it's everything they really want to do.
I'm very fortunate. My wife and basically all my kids. My youngest every now and then gets it gets into it, but she's more diehard into her softball and stuff, which I get. But my older two and my wife and me, we're diehard gearheads. My wife will help when she can if she's not. She works in the medical field. She's an STNA, so working 12-hour shifts and stuff. Every now and then takes her a couple days to recuperate from working 4 days straight. So when she's not tired, she does come and help. So
yeah, I see my dad chiming in here a little bit. He did make plenty of time to get us out of the way to where we could have fun. We actually, I think from the age of like, I want to say 7 or 8 years old, I started going to work with my dad. Any day that I wasn't in school, I was at work with him. It was 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. Dad walked in the room, kicked me into bed. You got about 5-10 minutes. Let's go. And we'd always go do landscaping, weld, and basically whatever was paying the bills at the time.
Yeah, man.
But, I got a funny one for y'all if you want to hear a funny one after Dennis's.
Yeah, so, go right ahead.
I get back from Dennis's, still all bobble-headed from my win. You know, I was super excited. And I left the truck.
And Andy, by the way, Morgan, this is after he finally caught his breath after his run and stuff. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll tell that story here in a second too. So,
yes, sir. I agree with you there.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So I leave the truck on the trailer for 2 days, and I threw the sprinkler under it. I was like, all right, I'll wash it at some point, but let's get all the big mud off. Well, I got to go back to work, and I use my trailer for work every day. So I pulled it off, and I was like, I'll make a little pass around the yard, just make sure everything's good, because I didn't think nothing broke at Dennis's. And because we had Delmar last weekend, so I didn't have much time to work on it. So early in the week, tried to make sure she was all right. Well, I went to Dennis's with some really weak rear brakes. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, very questionable rear brakes.
Uh-oh.
They worked good when they needed to. Well, I get it off the trailer Monday or Tuesday, and I make a little pass around the yard. I never touched the brakes pulling off the trailer for some reason because I got enough room, you know what I mean? And I made a little lick around the yard, and I did one little pass, and then I seen the city workers were across the street cleaning out ditches. They were digging them all so everything would drain. And they're out there, they're like, throwing their hands up, like turn that thing up and everything. Like, I'm like, okay, we'll make a quick little lick through the yard. Well, my yard's only about 300 feet long, I'd say. 150 by like 300 or so. Maybe longer than that. Whatever. It's 1.25 acres. I got enough room to hit second gear, almost lock up, and then let off and hit the brakes, and I'm slowed down by the ditch. Well, I back up to the fence. I forget the rear brakes aren't working. And I pissed all the rear brake fluid out of this truck. I banged the gears. She's riding out. I said, woo-hoo, we're ready for Delmar. Well, about the time I pass my house is usually when I get on the brakes. Well, there's
nothing.
I got video on my phone of it, but I can't pull it up here. But I got on the brakes. The front tires locked up. The truck never slowed down one bit. Just got on top and slid. So about 25 feet of that, I was like, okay, I am not slowing down for the road. I got to figure something out. So you see me let off the brakes for 5 feet. There's one clean patch of grass. And then you see me engage in reverse and mat this thing. I didn't know if it was going to hold, blow, wring the drive shafts out of it.
Ooh.
We won't talk about
that. That's for another day.
I think he meant to say at 9 years old because I used to like playing with fire a lot.
Firebug.
Yeah.
I feel that one.
Horsepower bug now. Much better. Long story short, I thought I could light some leaves on fire and put it out. And then when I got them lit on fire, I couldn't stomp it out. Oh, wait. Hold on. Which time are you talking about? Oh, no. He's talking about a different story. All right. So the first piece of small engine equipment that my dad ever gave me to work on was a little 3 horsepower edger trimmer thing that, you edge up the concrete.
Yep.
It had a brazen strut and motor on it. Well, I was always messing with that thing, trying to figure out how to make it run, do all kinds of craziness, see if I could stack pennies in the valves and stuff like that, and do all that kind of nonsense. Well, one day I had my Uncle Tommy over here. Rest in peace, Uncle Tommy. He passed away a few years ago. I had him over here, and I was like, will you help me work on this thing? I need some gasoline. So he went and got me some gasoline. Well, I'm over here. I hadn't cleaned the carburetor out properly. We're over here yanking on this thing for like an hour. It won't start. And I'm like, I don't know, 9, 10 years old at the time, 8 years old, something like that. And I was like, man, I should put some gasoline in a squirt bottle and just make it run. I bet you'd work all the gunk out of the car.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
have you know, my dad's house is cedar siding.
Oh, shit.
The back porch we hadn't torn it down yet, so it was probably every bit of 25-year-old lumber. It was dry. It had wood stain on it, so it was great and flammable. Well, none other where am I yanking on this thing and spraying gas at? On the back porch. Well, it backfires, and everywhere that the gas has misted, luckily not on the porch, but on the deck, everywhere the gas has misted is on fire at this point. My Uncle Tommy is over here freaking out, like, what do we do? What do we do? I grab the handles of this tiller and do one big spin and fling it off into the yard, not thinking that this thing is from the 70s or the 80s, and the gas cap's going to come flying off.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
So this is where I start freaking out. And I'm like, shit. What do I do? The whole house is going to burn down because there's like a 25-foot strip, 5 foot wide in the backyard on fire.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I
damn.
run into the house, grab the fire extinguisher, put it out, and then I think I'm slick. I'm like, Tommy, don't tell my dad. Thinking he won't notice the burnt spot in the backyard. I went and took the lawnmower and put grass clippings on all the burnt spot. So I can't tell. So by the time that the grass clippings decay, it's just going to be dead grass. It's going to look normal. I put the pin back in the fire extinguisher and I put it back on the shelf, but I face it in just a way that you don't see the gauge walking into the kitchen. And my dad never really walked to the back of the house in that direction, if you get what I'm saying. It was just like a storage room and then my bedroom upstairs. Well, so I figured if I just turned it in the shadows, nobody would ever notice.
Well, you were wrong, weren't you?
Well, hold on. Bless my Uncle Tommy's heart. But what do you know? He's like, what are you going to do? We need to let your dad know. I said, no, you hush your mouth right now. I said, we are not going to say anything. I said, I am not supposed to be messing with gasoline, starting fluid, or any kind of flammables when dad's not home. That was a big rule. Don't burn the house down. Yes, that was one of the number one rules is don't die and don't burn the house down. Well, you see, my Uncle Tommy's really worried at the time because my dad had just gotten the gas fireplace back up and operational. So that's why the fire extinguishers were in the house, because he's a little bit of a he's kind of like me. He's got a little bit of anxiety on everything, but he's cool with doing anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's be
prepared. I get it. Yeah,
so
better to be prepared than not prepared for any situation.
Exactly. So I'm like, no, we don't need to tell him nothing. I'll get it refilled or replaced. I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I don't have $30 for a fire extinguisher at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So about 2 days later, I get home from school and my dad sits me down in the living room. He's like, hey, come here. He's on the phone when I walk in the door, and he just gives me one of those. Wait a second.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like, oh shit.
Well, what do you know is sitting at the foot of his chair other than this empty fire extinguisher?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think I was grounded for about 2 months on that one.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But yeah, that was my first experience with scary fire. And I never learned my lesson.
Oh, I've helped do those before. That fucking, it can be sketchy as hell.
What do you mean? That's the only way I blow tires on. If my cheetah cannon won't do it? man, we're getting the starting fluid out, and we wasting
that's what some of my buddies do. And the first time I ever seen them do it, it shot a fireball and singed my hairs off my legs. I was wearing shorts when I helped them the first time ever doing it. And I've been leery ever since when they say, well, we're getting the starting fluid. I said, I'm standing over in the corner. You guys are on your damn mode. I'm not getting my leg hairs burned off again.
No, man. You got to get you a stick. You got to get a stick. That's the key to it. You got to get a stick.
It was an interesting experience.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to talking about racing. What do we want to talk about racing? Y'all got any questions? You want to know about how we do it down here, or what you got?
One of the things, real quick, we'll go ahead and get the story since Morgan brought it up again of about that pitcher speaking. It was a bad night at the office. He thinks it was. You have to fill him in on this.
Okay, so we were chatting a little bit ago. First year racing, I was trying to figure out how competitive I was going to be. Didn't want to destroy my truck. Brad and my dad did a very good job of convincing me not to do dumb stuff. Well, I decide, I think it was last year's North versus South, I want to say. I thought I was done for the season, so I was like, cool, if I don't take first place today, I'm freestyling the truck. I'm going to have my own win in my own book, if you get what I'm saying. Well, I think I ended up taking second or third place. So I was like, cool, we're freestyling the truck. And in my mind, I've always had two pictures that I really want of my Jeep and I in midair. One of them is jumping off into a mud pit all crazy, like you always see those gnarly Unlimited and Super Street trucks doing.
Oh, yeah.
One of those. And then the other one was some monster truck style side hits, like that right there.
There you guys go.
Well, nobody else in a tough truck, as far as I know, nobody else that I had seen personally had done it yet at Dennis's. So I told my buddy Brad, I said, hey, man, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a freestyle, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go spin a lap. If the truck holds together for the lap, after I hit a couple jumps so I don't just one and done it, I'm going to hit that side jump good enough to where I'm going to make it count. And the truck's probably not going to come away from that, but if it does, there will not be a truck left when I'm done. So one of Brad's big sponsors, I'm getting to it. One of Brad's big sponsors, Chris at Performance Plumbing and Pipelining. My boy, he was eavesdropping on our conversation from on the little pedestal that you can watch the races from. He's like,
nice.
You ain't got a hair on your ass if you don't put that bitch on the roof. I got all serious for a second. I looked at him and I said, you paying for it? He said, what's it cost me? I said, $500. And I said, that bitch won't drive on the trailer. I said, I'll put her on the roof. I said, it'll have a good time. He said, and I said, hold on, let me see that for a second. I handed it to Brad, and I said, Brad, you're my escrow account. Make sure I receive this at the end of the race. And that lit the fire under my tail like none other. I went out there. I blew all 4 tires off the truck, and then I was blew 3 tires off the truck. And then as I'm driving around, I'm wondering, I'm like, now how am I going to roll this thing over? I've hit every jump, done smoked the sides of hills, went up on 2 wheels, and done everything I could. Tried bicycling it, freaking everything except for hit that center tire jump because my name ain't Josh Phillips and I pride my neck. You know what I mean? As my dad said, let's put this in there before OSHA gets involved. I got a Butler race seat. I got a Simpson hybrid, big 5-point. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-point roll cage, all 120 wall DOM, nothing, no bullshit. So everything was safe and I knew I was comfortable, thanks to Brad and my dad for helping me get the cage in the truck and the axles and everything else. So the only thing I told everybody, I said, look, if this thing, the only fear I ever have racing is catching on fire. If I'm on fire, you will see me running out that thing like a little baby. I said, I will roll it over 3-4 times, and I will be happy doing it with a smile on my face when it's done.
Yeah.
So we went out there. We hit all those jumps. We did everything, and I got 3 tires popped on the truck. And if you watch the video of the freestyle, it gets lame for about 30 seconds. I'm putting around the track trying to do something. So I finally get up towards Dennis. You can see the truck would not turn. And Dennis is up here. Stop. It's broken. Be done. I could see it in my window. He thought I was going to run his ass over. So I said, I literally stopped the truck. I said, right in front of him. And he raised an eyebrow at me. I got the truck turned around. I got it going as fast as I could. And that jump that I was telling you that I really like to hit, I freaking hit the side of that thing and turned right as hard as I could and rolled her over twice. And I ended up landing like on my side, kind of on my roof. And our buddy JP McCain or JP Marshall, one of them, we got 2 JPs that are on the track crew, both really cool guys. They're the first ones you're going to see in your window when you wreck, and they're who you want there. So he runs over. Phil, you good? That was badass, man. I said, I'm great, but don't get me out of here. Put this thing on all 4 wheels so I don't catch on fire. I'm watching oil, gas, every freaking thing that is in that motor pour out the hood. And I'm sitting there shaking like a leaf because all I see are fluids puddling up in front of me. JP's like, you good? I said, flip this motherfucker back. And then I got out. I felt like king of the world, man. I got on the roof, took my helmet off, did the whole thing. I felt like I was living out my Monster Jam dream. And that's where kind of my whole story comes together is that
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was like the completion. I was like, tough truck career done. I'm happy. Let's finish the mega truck. Well, Well, the my dad, Suffolk Mud Jam 2018, I believe, 2017, 2018, I believe. He freaking went out there and he lead-footed that Grand Cherokee, landed, it hopped, rolled over twice, and by the time it got done rolling over, me and Brad were inside the window trying to get him unhooked, making sure he was okay. That's where that story came from. Before the track crew ever got there. That was back when Suffolk Mud Jam was open. But we'll fall back a little bit. I got out the truck and I was like, cool. I've completed my tough truck thing. I'm good. Let's finish the mega truck. I'm happy. Well, then I started looking over the truck that night, and I was like, man, this thing ain't that bad. We got some body damage, a radiator, a couple tires. I was like, we could go again. We could for sure go again. So instead of camping at the track that night, obviously we don't race on Sundays usually, ever really, I don't think. I ran home that night, and I came back to get the truck next morning. I bolted 4 tires on it, checked the oil, fired it up, drove it on the trailer. I was like, man, I can't kill this thing. And my buddy Brad's, he's like, well, what are you going to do now? That thing needs a lot of work. I'm like, well, I'm going to go back to the shop, and we're going to strap it to the mega truck, and we're going to pull the body back out. And if you go check out our Facebook page, shout out to Zerker Motorsports on Facebook. Go check us out. We got all kinds of crazy nonsense up there. There's a video. I didn't even know Brad was taking a video of me. He's got the mega truck parked out front. I got my Jeep parked out front. Mega truck's in the shop. I'm just sitting there chain binding, and you can almost see the thoughts coming out of my head, like, why did I do this? And now I got to fix all this before we go to Bogart for Boobies in October. So I got her button back up. I got a fender and hoods put on it. And then what do I decide to do at Bogart for Boobies in October? Go bigger. This picture right here.
Yeah, that is the air I have seen under an XJ ever in my life.
You know the wildest part about this one? That was the first jump I hit in that freestyle, and I was like, oh, the Jeep's got it. I'm going to do it first so I can freaking lay a heater when I'm done. No, I hit that jump, cleared it. I counted to 5 in the sky and thought I saw Jesus. Came back down, laid back into the throttle, kind of turned around to get straightened back up, and I'm just sitting there, trucks, one bum bum. I'm like, this thing ain't going into gear, throwing the shifter around. And I look over and I see my dad, the crowd, just like, she's done, bud. Broke.
Oh, yeah.
I get out the truck.
Misty Rose, awesome. She's in the comments that took the picture. Fuck yeah, that is sweet.
Right, she takes the best photos at the races, always catches the best action that we can get.
Right.
rest in peace, my buddy Rick Ulrich, because I swear she was godsend after he passed away.
Nice.
Best in the biz. She gets everything for us.
You
and she
got
hooks us up
definitely
with
go
these
check them
awesome
out, Johnny.
prints. Yeah.
Check them
Great,
out, dude. They
great
are
lady.
sick.
She knows what she's
Yes,
doing.
sir.
For sure. I think this is hers right here, edited in
Yeah.
You look right there in the middle. It says
Nice.
photography, and then down
Well,
at the bottom.
like when I did the flyer for you, I made sure in that picture, which is cool. Yes, I'll be in the first to admit. Chat GTP. I said keep the sponsor logos in there because I want to give them the credit for being on here for taking that stuff, and it's fucking, and it worked out perfect.
Yep. Well, after I landed from that one, I see my dad giving me the X, and when he gives me the X, usually it's done because he'll give me a little, and I'll be like, all right, we're still going. So he gave me the X, and I was like, man, that sucks. I get out the truck, and both rear tires and axle shafts are sitting on the ground pointing at the sky. And the truck is sitting on the rear end. Both front U-joints are blown out, puking fluid out the front end, doing the whole nine. It was perfect, dude. It was like something out of a cartoon.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, at that point, I realized, I was like, okay, XJs are not for freestyling. I was like, if I want to have something to drive before I get to finish my mega truck, which I'm glad I put this thing back together, I need to take it a little bit easier on her. So we got focused on making it a little bit faster after that, getting it buttoned back up. I got a long arm kit on it now, so it lands a little bit better. And all that whole nine, I plan on putting a 8.8 Ford rear end in it, thanks to my in-laws. They gifted Matt to me. And I plan on doing matching gear sets now. And I'm really trying to dial in the suspension with the leaf springs. I got a 3-inch leaf pack in the rear, so with Fox shocks right now. But back to what we were talking about right before the pod started, semifinals at Dennis's, I went over the finish line jump, and I was racing my buddy Turbo. And me and Turbo are super competitive when we race, like, because it is anybody's game at that point.
Oh, yeah.
He drives a ragged piece of junk that he works on the night before the race and only the night before the race. Like, let me tell you this. I provided the axles under that truck at Thursday at 7 p.m. I delivered them to Pungo Off-Road Shop, unloaded them off the trailer, and he said, all right, I'll be back tomorrow. I said, you ain't going to put these in tonight? He said, no, I get off at 5 tomorrow. 4 hours, I'll have them in. I said, good Lord. So I sold him the axles. We're out there racing, and same day I trashed the rum circuit. Oh, yeah. He did a freestyle too. We'll get to that here in just a second. What were we talking about? I'm sorry. ADHD.
You're good. We're getting back to the whole going out of breath in this semifinals hot lapping.
Me and Turbo are racing. We're super competitive. We meet in the turn, and we're freaking coming up turn same way, and his Jeep's white, so I can see it glistening out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, I am not letting him win this time. I wrung that thing out, and I come over to finish line jump, and I was so nervous about losing. I held my breath hitting the jump, and I know better than to do that. I did that the first time I ever raced, and I never did it again until that race right there, and I landed, and all I felt was a little pop, and then all my breath was gone. I'm over here busting my straps off trying to reinflate my lung, and I'm pulling back up to the line. And in the finals, I lined up against my good buddy Vance Price Jr., and Vance Price Sr. is sitting there helping us all get lined up and turned around. And well, they're like, come on, you got to hot lap this thing. You got to hot lap this thing. We're going. I'm like, y'all got to give me 35 seconds to reinflate my lung because I cannot breathe right now. So I'm over here. I'm pulling up to the line, strapping back in, getting everything tight. I'm over here still like beat red in the face, trying to breathe. And I take off, and it was like nothing had ever happened. It was locked back in 100% again. And me and my buddy Vance, we're both the type that we don't care what's broke on our truck. If we're lined up in the lanes together, we're either checkers or records, baby. We're balling up. One of us are winning. Well, I knew he was in two-wheel drive, so I was like, oh, this should be okay. This shouldn't be too bad. Well, again, misjudged. I'm in the turn, and this mofo and me are nose to nose coming around the corner. I'm like, where did you come from? So drop back down in gear again and let her ride. Well, this time it grabbed third gear, hit lockup in third gear, and she was rolling. Let's put it that way. Like to the point where I came off the lip of the jump and I said, "Oh no, we're about to go for a ride." Well,
oh shit!
if you shoot over to Misty Rose's photography page on Facebook, give her a follow. She does all the race reviews on the East Coast for the most part. So, or the upper East Coast at least. Well, if you look at the video, she's got a really good play-by-play of that thing landing and then it coming off the ground about another 3 feet. Well,
it literally.
When it bounced, I'm turning midair trying to avoid the mud pit. And I land, I smoke the wall of the mud pit, go up on 2 wheels, and I park on my side in the mud hole. Well, here's the good news. Here's the bad news. We get DQ'd if we crash into the mud hole or if we try to go through the mud hole and we get stuck. We can go through it after the race is over, like after we pass the finish line, but if we get stuck, automatic disqualification. Here's where the race drama came in I was mentioning earlier.
Right.
Well, as we pull up to the starting line and I'm over here fighting for my last breath, one of the promoters stick their head through the window and they're like, Premier Mega Truck Racing lights, Premier Mega Truck Racing rules. I said, what does that mean? They said, just run off the lights and go. First to the finish line wins. Cool. Well, because they did the little Final Four shootout that was sponsored by Premier, I guess, may have been sponsored by Premier.
Right.
The disqualification for crashing into the mud hole was not there anymore. I'm in my truck freaking out, like punching the steering wheel, getting upset. I'm blowing her for reverse to drive, trying to get out the mud hole just so I don't get DQ'd. And then my boy JP, gotta love him, comes up in the window, gives me the X. That means stop doing what you're doing, put the truck in neutral. I'm like, okay. And I was upset. So I get back to the staging lanes or the pits, wherever I went, and I'm pissed. I'm yanking off all my stuff. I'm going to be by myself kind of deal because I don't want to damper anybody else's parade. I was going to find me an Uncrustable and a Gatorade. I don't know if y'all know, but Uncrustables are my kryptonite. So I was going to find that and try to not be so upset anymore. And my buddy calls me and he's like, hey, you won. I'm like, no, I didn't. I got disqualified. Yeah, that was the one time my brakes were all working right. You can watch it in the video. All four locked up into the mud hole. Well, my buddy said, you won. Josh was one of them who was there right when I got out the truck. I'm like, y'all just need to leave me alone for a second. I'm upset. I screwed up. Let them make the call. I'm not making the call. I don't want to be the one to argue the rules. Man, they're all good. Strawberry, chocolate, honey.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
So I'm sitting there all upset and not like upset, but I'm like, man, I just gave up my second ever first place win and my only first place win ever at Dennis's for a freaking crash in the mud hole. I said, this is baloney. Well, like I said, my buddy calls me. He's like, yo, man, like my dad said, not over till it's over. So I waited it out. I got the word that, hey, I should be taking the W. You know, it was Premier Rules, Premier Racing, which I got a little hint. I got a little bug to put out there. I think we might be trying to start a East Coast Tough Truck Racing series with points to follow them next year, possibly. There's a little rumor.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Much more, but I think there's a little rumor about it, so let's try to push for that. But yeah, and I ended up going to the thing. They gave it to me, and I was happier than a pig in poop, man. I tell you what, I'd never won $1,000 in my life doing nothing. The most I've ever won racing was maybe $500 or $600. And all I wanted to do, and you can ask Brad this, last year, I told him all my goal is for this year is to just travel around, run the truck, and see if I can get a first place at home. That's all I wanted to do. I ended off last season with a first place in Del Mar. I think we had like 5 or 7 of us, but that wasn't a big field. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's cool. We got first place. It was a long track. You did need stamina and all that kind of stuff in your truck. But, 7 people. I want a competition. You know what I mean? I want to run brackets. I want to knock down classes. I want to do that whole thing when I'm racing. And that's what we did at Dennis's. We did best time, top shootout, or 2 best times, Final four shootout, we got to make 2 passes at the end if you won your round. That's 4 rounds of racing. I'm cool with that. That is a good time. That shows that your truck's strong, shows that you can hold it together as a driver, especially when I will tell you the one thing that I dislike about Dennis is they burn you down in your truck in the pits. You are sitting in your truck 30 to 45 minutes if you are not.
Really?
Yes, it sucks. I got a Milwaukee fan that I mounted into the floor of my Jeep, put a little 6-0 battery in there, and leave that thing low. You know what I mean? Especially with that being black. But man, I got to say, just my biggest thing with racing is I want to keep evolving. I want to try to get paid to do some racing. Don't have to get paid, but you know what I mean? I just want to get on the road. I want to get behind the wheel of everything that I can. I'll call Brad out right here. Word is I might be getting behind the wheel of old Berserker this year at a race, so we'll see.
Well, by the way, too, Brad, I've seen on the post and everything else, you are away. They have threatened to get it out, so I mean, I've seen.
Oh no,
personally,
he's lucky. I'm a very respectful friend. Only do a couple parking lot burnouts with his truck. You know what I mean? And that was the thing too. Right before the race, I told Brad, I was like, "Man, I really want to win today. I really want to win today." I was like, "That's all I care." I didn't care about winning, but I wanted to have fun and I wanted to let the truck hang out. But yeah, hopefully this year I'll be getting behind the wheel of Berserker for a race. I don't want to freestyle it because that's Brad's department. We'll leave that to him. I'll stick to freestyle in my Jeep and my truck when it's done. Me and Brad have been putting in some hours on mine last year. I got a little tied up this winter with work and him being in Japan, so they got kind of put on the back burner. But I got a 1 ton that we're putting together that is it's going to be something to look at. It ain't going to be nothing crazy. It ain't going to be no lieback build, but it'll definitely have some character to it.
Dude, that guy right there, lieback, is fucking, his shit is insane. Dude, he is, oh, God, his shit, though.
Interesting. Yeah, no, actually, lieback, I got a funny story about him. He helped me get into my racing stuff, too. I mean, not crazy, but we were at Dennis's one year for North versus South, and, you know, what does a 16, 17-year-old do walking around when we're camping at Dennis's? You stay up all night, and you watch everybody roll in with their mud trucks, and you go ask people to drive their trucks. Well, lieback rolls in about 3:30 in the morning at Dennis Anderson's for North versus South, like, I want to say 12 years ago, 13 years ago. And me and him had met before. You know, we know who each other are, not by first name basis, but by face and all that. I go up, I said, "What's up, man? You are a little late to the show." He's like, "Race ain't started yet." I'm like, "All right, cool, fun drive, yada, yada, yada." And I was like, "Hey, man, so you're letting me race your truck tomorrow, right?" And he laughed at me. He's like, "No, but I'll let you drive it tonight." I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" He's like, "Get in it. Let's go for a ride." I'm like, "Okay." I start busting straps off the trailer. I don't remember which truck this is. I could probably tell you. I think it's one of the old Hitmans, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
No shit.
It's an old Hitman. So I get in it. We back it off the trailer. And he's like, I'm being nice to her. I try to be as respectful as I can, which is another reason why I think Brad trusts me to handle his equipment. Is when it's not mine, I'm extra cautious, or at least I try.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is, man. And that's, well, not only that with the respect thing, not to interrupt, but when you got good friends that are giving you 6-figure toys to go opportunities, yes, you're gonna be that way. But at the same time, it's like you can't thank them enough for even just giving you, you know. Most people wouldn't even get the chance to get what you guys get to do, especially with somebody like Brad that I've met personally in the last year on Facebook and talking through Messenger and stuff, man. He seems like it'd be an awesome dude to come hang out with when he comes home.
He definitely is, but don't get me wrong. You're working. If that truck ain't going to a show, past Delmar last year, if that truck ain't going to a show with a nice body or a clean paint job or a clean body, there have been times we leave the shop at 12:30 at night, and this both us, we're going to the car wash before we drop it off at the track. I'm like, dude, it is 1:00 in the morning. Let's go home. Hey, it comes with a lot of work, but you know that's the nature of the beast. And Oh man, it's a great time.
I mean, like here, I've got local to me. I don't know if you've ever heard the name Tim Warner, Wrong Turn Mega Truck.
Yep, he actually came to Dennis's before, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's a good buddy. We just met and actually got to hang out at. He did a freestyle and stuff during one of JMM's motorsports shows, monster truck shows up here in Ohio. I got to meet him, got to pick his brain a little bit. He's been actually a guest on the show, and he sent me. I think it was like a month ago. His brand new motor. He goes, "You're the first to see this." Sent me in text message. He goes, "Are you sitting down?" I'm like, "What did I?" And I sent back, "What did I do wrong?" That was my first word. He goes, "You're the first person to get to hear this fire up." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "This is the new motor, new setup, everything we did for the truck this year." And it made me feel honored because he was a, other than in his circle that helped work on it, he sent me that as the first public person to see it. And he's an awesome guy. He's not even 30 minutes away from me. He's like, if I'm home and you're out running around in the Licking County area where he lives up here in Ohio, he goes, hit me up, come over to the shop.
Man, me and Brad went to Ohio a couple months back, actually, right before he left for Japan. My buddy asked me to go pick up a couple cars for him out of state. So he loaded up the gooseneck in the truck. We rode out there. We went out to PEI, checked everything out. I wish we would have met before then because we could have came over, done a podcast, and, bummed your couch from me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, next time you ever get a chance and you come to Ohio and you're close by, doors always open for you guys if you ever get a chance to.
Sounds good, man.
So,
man,
but yeah,
go ahead.
It was awesome. Yeah, I grew up like you. I'll be 44. Always watching monster truck racing. I've always been diehard into it.
Same.
But yeah, like I told you backstage, my first true passion that got me the bug was dirt track racing and truck and tractor pulling. I mean, but ever since then, I'm more into the tough. I've done demolition derby, but I love tough trucks. I love monster trucks, but running tough trucks is one of the best choices I think in my racing career of doing any motorsports. I fucking love it.
Exactly, man. I'll tell you, I got started with racing lawnmowers. Not like the kind you're thinking. I'm talking like my dad gave me an Ariens hydrostatic lawnmower, and I'm over here mudbogging it in the backyard trying to figure out how to make it fast. And then I ended up coming across a couple ones a few years later, and I was one of the first kids in my school or whatever to everybody called me Mower Boy. Me and my buddy Wyatt Castle, they all called us Mower Boys or whatever because we liked horsepower and messing with stuff, and the only thing we could afford at the time was freaking lawnmowers. So
you could do a lot with those things. If you could find the stuff, you could do a lot.
Yeah, I tried to run it back on the lawnmowers at Dennis Anderson's a few years back, and it didn't end up too well. I ended up not having any brakes again. Seems to be a common occurrence for me.
I was going to say, it sounds like it.
Dude cut me off going into the turn, and I just monster trucked them and flipped over, and then I got ran over by 3 people. It was great. It was so awesome. And then I got back up, and I felt so defeated because, crashing in front of a crowd where you get ran over is that's kind of one of those.
And then to make it even worse, it's in front of a freaking legend on his property when it happens too.
Exactly. So I said no. I said no. We ain't gonna do this. I flipped the mower back over. I sat there, crank till the battery almost died. And then it lit back off. Big old puff of smoke. Front wheels are pointed in 2 different directions. Could not get the thing to steer, so I rode out into the cornfield with it. Come back over the tabletop and wheelied the whole freaking tabletop at Dennis's. It had the crowd going wild while they're still doing roundy rounds with the lawnmowers. I was like, I'm putting on my own show. Screw this. I don't know if you threw that comment up there, but my dad, he always told me growing up, don't do anything stupid when nobody's not home. But the problem is if I told anybody what I was going to do, I would never be allowed to do it. You know what I mean? No, that's not smart. We got to be safe. So my dad always found out by sitting. He'd come home from work. Me and my buddy Wyatt would be in the backyard wrenching on a go-kart, a mower, whatever it may be, a dirt bike. And he'd usually find out about 5 minutes after something happens when we post it on Facebook. Whether it's go-kart rollover, the mower flying off the tabletop in the backyard, any of that stuff. Well, one day we're out there, and this is kind of where I think I got my freestyle love here. Me and my buddy Wyatt got a go-kart put together, and all I had was a lawnmower gas tank, so I strapped it to the roof above the roll cage so it would feed the gas tank. There's a video on my Facebook if you go way back. It's like the first video I ever posted on my Facebook. You'll find it. Well, my buddy Wyatt takes a video. We had cut out a little jump in the side of the hill. I jumped the hill. I pogo stick the rear end on the golf cart or the go-kart. It goes bounce on the top. So we're cross-threading the jump just like we did at Dennis's. Sharp hill. It pogo sticks on the rear end. It hops over, and this jump's only like 5-6 feet tall, but 5-6 feet tall when you're 4 feet tall is kind of decent.
It's a pretty decent jump.
Comes back over, endos on the ground, and rolls over a couple times. But it pogo sticks off the jump over to the nose on the flat ground and then rolls over a few times. But if you watch in the video, all you get to see is the pogo stick and it come over, and then you see the phone just drop. Freaking out in the same situation that Dennis is. I put the kill switch off in this thing, and he's like, "You good? You good?" I'm like, "Dude, just flip me back over. I hope you got that on video." That's all we care. We're good. Let's ride. Let's ride.
Heck yeah, man.
I do want to throw a few things out there for the rest of our season plan.
Go right ahead.
Maybe we can all link up and do a podcast, but we are going to try to run it back and go to West Leb again this year. I don't know if I'm going to race tough trucks at West Leb. I might see if Brad will let me do my couple race hits there, and then maybe he'd do a freestyle. Last year, he gave me the honor of being able to ride with him. I got fire suited up in all my gear, and I went out and did freestyle on every race pass with Brad that day, and that was the time of my life, I tell you. There's nothing like getting in the cab with your best friend and going out there, and every time he takes off the start line, you're freaking wailing him from the passenger seat. Whoa, let's go, let's go.
Oh, yeah, man. That'd be fucking a blast.
But yeah, we're going to run. I know I'm going to run the carnival in May at Dennis Anderson's. I'm going to try to run Del Mar towards the end of the year. I don't remember their date for that. I have a little possible surprise in June that might happen. I'm running the Monsters of Metal show up there in Maryland. I don't know where they're having it just yet, but that is June 15th-ish, 13th to 15th.
Really?
Like
nice.
And I am trying to talk to the promoter, Rick Disherin with the Metal Shop. Shout out to the Metal Shop. We dropped the truck off there last weekend. They're going through it and getting it ready for us for that show specifically. Trying to talk to the promoter and to let me do a little stunt with Jeep. I'm kind of going to leave it there, but let's try to pump that up a little bit.
Heck yeah, man.
And then after that, we're going to do North versus South. We may possibly hit Pennsylvania again like we did last year, Monsters versus Megas. I think.
Okay.
And
then that was the Monsters. Yep.
And then we're definitely hitting West Leb again. Got to hit West Leb again. That place is a legendary track. It's awesome. The promoters are cool, man. Kevin Forrester Wilkie, that dude is always willing to help. Hans Horthog, or sorry if I said that wrong, but man, last year, first race out, Brad rings the front drive shaft off, comes back in, and we had just got done fighting this truck for the last 3 races. I'm talking spark issues, electrical issues, all the things, because we're always trying to just hit every race we can. You know what I mean? We're putting on the show for the fans, getting our name. Doing we can, living out our monster truck dreams, as I always like to call it. That's what I tell everybody, even though it's in a mega truck, but still, same thing. So we go out there. Brad rings the front drive shaft, first pass. I wasn't riding with him, so wait, no, was this Pennsylvania? I can't remember. I think it was West Leb. Rings the drive shaft, first pass. Brings the trucks back into the pits, and I can see the look on his face. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was feeling the same way. We were about ready to shed tears, the both of us. And I was like, man, what are we going to do? Brad's like, I think we're done for the year. I think we just need to put it away, restart for next season. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, you're not wrong, but we did just drive 13 hours. So I said, you know what? We're going to find another drive shaft. Shout out to our boy. I'll find it real quick.
Yep.
I think his name, it's not Joey Adams. It is
I'll be straight and honest with you. If I had a choice between a monster truck and a mega truck, like
truck
something like, oh yeah, I was gonna say I'll take a mega truck all day long over a monster truck.
All right. So shout out to our boys Matt Fenwick and Joe Bishop. Matt Fenwick runs the Lebanon Valley Mud Bogs, and I guess he helps sometimes with the Monsters versus Megas at West Leb. I could be totally wrong about that, other than I know he owns the Mud Bog up there.
Okay.
Great people. Great freaking people. Give us their only spare drive shaft and say, cut it up if you need to. I told Brad, I think Brad ended up with the drive shaft. I told Brad, I said, man, I'm going to get here early in the morning. I'm going to run to Harbor Freight. I'll buy a grinder. I'll buy some cutoff wheels, and I'll buy a couple skateboard wheels, and we are going to roll us a new drive shaft on the back of this trailer. Oh, yeah. We were up for 24 hours fixing the truck and then drove 13 hours straight through the night to get up there.
Holy shit.
Forgot about that part. Get up there. Hans comes up to us the next morning. He's like, yo, man, I got a welder and the whole rig with me. I drove it 6 hours here in case anybody needs it. This man pulls up in an international, 16-foot service box, international semi-service truck.
No shit.
Miller Bobcat in the back, MIG welder in the back, torches, grinders, sticks, vise, the whole nine, and says, the world is yours. Opens up all of his doors and said, let me know what you need. If you need help, let me know. You're more than welcome to use it yourself or to ask me to do it. He said, take it. It's all yours.
That's fucking awesome to have people like that in your corner.
Get this. We build the drive shaft on the trailer, and it rotates smoother than the drive shaft we paid to get built 2 weeks prior. You can watch the old drive shaft do kind of like this.
Do the little up and...
That one that we built, smooth as a button, and has still yet to break to this day. And
oh, yeah, man.
My fat ass got up in the truck with Brad and made 4 race passes that evening and did a full freestyle bus jump, box truck jump, donuts, freaking tried to do a nose wheelie, still working on those, but laid it out with that thing, and the drive shaft held up the whole entire time.
Wow. You guys have got
stories, you know.
I'll tell you what, man. You guys definitely have a great support system. Your guys' group, just from getting to know you guys these last few months on Facebook and stuff, I feel like I've known you for like 10 years. Just how tight knit you guys are all together, and just from watching your guys' one podcast when Brad was on there, because I was in the comments chatting it up with you guys and stuff until I had something to do and I got out of there. But I mean, yeah, I feel like here lately it's like you guys has got the group like I have here in Ohio, where I've got my certain guys with our stuff. But it's cool to have that because it's no longer friends. It's family. That's the way I look at it. You're family now. It's like, so I mean,
oh, trust me, we talk shit like we're family. We don't really fight too much, but we talk crap. We throw things back and forth. We freaking work together. We lay it all out. Like, just like we'll even throw it back this far. Just like me helping Brad, Brad helps me. Back when I was building my Jeep, my dad originally was supposed to do the roll cage. Well, I don't remember if that was times where he had a pretty rough year with health last year on many different ends of the spectrum. Very bad luck. But I don't think this was involved with that. But he was pretty busy at the time, and he had built my front axle. Well, I was supposed to get my truck into his shop to get the cage done, and we couldn't do that in time. It just was not working out. Well, I had the tube and all the material, everything to it. And at the time, me and Brad weren't doing much yet. We were traveling together, having some fun together, but we'd maybe 3 races in. You know what I mean? 4 races in.
Right.
Well, he's like, hey, man, you're helping me. Let me help you. Bring it over to my dad's house, get everything prepped. We're going to throw a cage in 3 days, and you're going to go racing next weekend. I said, I am down. Let's go. Get over there. We spent 3 days from like 3 or 4 p.m. till about 11 o'clock at night, throwing a cage in it and all that mess. Got it all tied up. I took it home, finished it towards the end of the week, put the axle under it, seat, the whole nine, got it fixed up. And I think first race out, we took 4th or 5th place, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it did really good. I was super happy with it, man. So, yeah, we got a real tight-knit group. I mean, there's probably not a season that we'll ever have that we're not all going to be at the shop at the same time on a Friday night before a race up until midnight. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's and see, and that's one thing here in Ohio. I wish they would bring back, be more some of the mega truck races and stuff around here instead of me having to travel, to North Carolina, to Virginia, stuff like that. The one year I got to actually go watch mega trucks is when they first brought back the jamborees. They got rid of the tough trucks and brought the megas in, and I got to see that. But I haven't seen a mega truck run other than Tim last year doing his freestyle thing with his. But it's on the bucket list. I'm gonna try. My family even wants to come. We want to go down for a weekend and be at Dennis Anderson's for one of the races for the weekend. That is one of our bucket list deals, even if it's not until the fall or whatever, but it's one of our goals in the next 2 years to be down there. And hopefully I can bring a truck and bring the Jeep down if it holds up for me.
Yes, sir.
Come down and play with you guys.
Man, I'm telling you, if you're going to hit one, Spring Sling or North versus South.
Is that one?
2 heavy hitter shows. I mean, this Spring Sling, it was a heavy hitter show, but it wasn't the normal show we have. I will say that. It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like that. It was a great show, but it was very mellow, I'd say. It was one of our, more mellow shows. We had some big air and freestyle and stuff like that, but I think North versus South is the one to hit. Normally, I think we had like 40 truck count at this show, and normally open the season up, we get at least 50 or 60 trucks between the tough trucks and the megas and all that.
Okay.
But it seemed a little light this year, but I mean, I'm sure it'll come back. It always does.
Oh yeah,
sure.
especially for a show like that and everything else that's put on. I mean, and then it's like one of the guys I've been friends with on Facebook. He's out west, Larry McCormick. Watching those guys race tough truck out there in California during the monster truck shows that he does, and him racing. I've seen some of his live videos from out there, dude. It's like we're all I'm surrounded everywhere around. It'd be cool, sometime down the road. I was just on the podcast last Monday with couple of my local guys talking about the upcoming season. I said it'd be neat if we could find a central focal point to bring West versus East and have a all shootout for just the tough trucks alone, not just including
awesome.
but to have it to see, because you always hear of Ohio. You got everybody on the East Coast, the Pennsylvania boys, the Foy Toy guys, that whole crew. Then you got all the guys out in Oklahoma. Those guys are still tearing it up out there with that stuff. And then you got McCormick's crew. I would be awesome to find some way to bring everybody together for a weekend, maybe have it where it's a 4-day deal or whatever.
Man, if we could, I would love it, and I'd volunteer to build the track. I've got plenty of skid steer experience under my belt.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, man, I'd set it up probably similar to Dennis's, but with a little bit changes. Because, man, I love fast-paced, high-speed racing. Like I was telling you before we got on here and went live and everything, the best kind of racing, I think, and most competitive racing we can do is tough trucks. I see y'all out there and a lot of the fairgrounds and stuff. I don't know if it's exactly y'all, but just the speed bumps and just tearing stuff up. I'm like, nah, man, we got to get competitive with this. Boys will be boys, and we need to place bets, and we need to, be competitive to where if we want to lay it all out on the line, yes, there's going to be risk of danger, but we can do that without ripping the whole front axle out of a truck.
And that's the thing we deal with at our local fairs around here, especially with my modified guys. These tracks are so fucking ridiculous. They're not doing what their potential is. For the first time in 3 years in a row for my local fair, we've actually had under 30-second passes in the last 3 years because the fair board finally built a fast track for everybody.
Oh,
And they don't understand it is the crowd wants to see fast-paced, high-flying, continuous action, not
yes.
oh, he just ripped his front axle out, he's done,
or the drive shaft's done over. Yeah, because I just came out of retirement this last year. I haven't ran a tough truck since 2009.
Holy
I had a
crap.
guy. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I had a guy literally needed a driver for his extra vehicle, and I finally can say I finished my hometown race because when I last raced there, I broke a front axle on a Dodge Power Wagon on the back section. So, but I ended up finishing.
Yeah.
And this year they used to pay the top 40. Well, they went top 25. I was 3 spots out of the money for my first time being back after that long of a hiatus.
Heck yeah, man. We're lucky to get the top at Dennis is always top 3 payout, but everywhere else, man, it's hard to get all 3 to pay out because 9 times out of 10, it's usually a
basically a win it all deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like last year at Del Mar, like I was just telling my dad and my fiance a few minutes ago before we got on here was my biggest thing about racing and everything is I try to be as humble as I can. Don't get me wrong. I'll admit it all day long. I'm a cocky, arrogant person sometimes, but I try to be a better person. So I try to use racing to help me teach me that in some ways, as in when I'm cocky and arrogant, I don't ever win. I don't ever take a trophy.
No.
I end up breaking parts and being pissed off. So when I go racing, what I've been trying to do is just get in my head a few days before the race, like, look, we're going to have fun. We want to win, but we don't care if we win. Let's just go lay it out there. And I try to make little goals for myself each race. Like, let's try to run a 20-second pass. Let's try to put a little bit more air under the tires on the finish line jump like I did last weekend. Which
yeah. You definitely did that.
I have to tame that one back just a little bit.
It shows humbleness and self-improvement, man.
Exactly. So, like I was saying with Del Mar at the end of last year, I took first place there, and they had really cool trophies. They had plaques, these aluminum plaques. I got one hiding up over here somewhere.
Nice.
Got these aluminum plaques with big sticker overlays on them. Shout out to Wheezy Graphics, Chris Weiss. He made those for him. They are awesome. Check him out if you ever need any T-shirts or stickers made. He's the man.
Nice.
But they came to me and they're like, "Hey, man, we were thinking about just paying out first place since there wasn't that many people here." And I was like, okay, why are you asking me that? That's not my call. And they're like, well, it is. We want to ask you. You won. I was like, well, what's the payout? There's $350 here. I'm like, okay, well, what were y'all thinking? And he's like, well, you can take the $350 and be happy, or you can break it down if you decide. I'm going to give that to you to decide. I was like, that's not even a decision. Give me $150 and then give second place 100 and give third place 50. I mean, that's the way we need to do it to break it down. Don't get me wrong. I ain't made of money. I mean, I may be doing better than the next guy some days, not in the wintertime. Summertime, I do okay for myself, but gas is still expensive. Toll fees are expensive. Renting or buying trailers and trucks to tow your stuff out of town is expensive. So at the end of the day, I think it's all about paying back the drivers. Like, don't get me wrong.
That's what it needs to be, and that's where a lot of us has got together because one of the guys, they put a point series together, and it's been going on now 3 years for it, and they pay top 10 for our point series that you can get in.
And I think that's the way to do it, and nobody wants to entertain. Like, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're good.
We do 3 to 4 local races here a year, at least for me. Dennis Anderson's, Morgan's Corner's kind of hit or miss here and there. They do some races some years and don't do it others. They have a crazy track, though. It's pretty cool. But 4 races at Dennis's, 2 at Del Mar, and then bam, you got a 6-race point series that if you live anywhere from Richmond to Middle North Carolina, you max have a 5 to 6 hour drive to get to Del Mar. I have 3 hours from Virginia Beach here. And it is one of my, other than Dennis Anderson's, it is my favorite track to run at. It is a long track. You got 2 or 3 different turns, you're hitting 4 or 5 different jumps, and it's a little bit technical, but you can stretch the legs out on your trucks. Now, back to what I was trying to say, I get sidetracked real easy. But it's all about paying the drivers back, and if we could just get the idea, all the guys are cool with it down here, just nobody's came together to reinforce it. It's like it doesn't even need to be a lot. $150 buy-in to the point series. If we can get 10 people, that's $1,500 payout. All right, cool. We're starting at $1,500. Let's see if we can get somebody to sponsor our series so we can go further up the road. Let's see if we can get somebody to sponsor a lift kit or, some coil springs, whatever. It ain't all got to be about money, but let's keep track of some stuff and let's get competitive. And then let's put it this way. Every time we go to those tracks, we got to do an extra $10 a person buy-in for the point series, and it goes to the championship or the final points breakdown. And just like Premier does it, you get a point for crossing the starting line, you get another point for completing the race, if I'm not mistaken. If you win the race, you may get even another point. I'm not sure about that.
I think that's how they had it set up.
Yeah, let's break it up like that, and then let's get these tracks to say, if we only get 5 trucks to show up, you'll each get $100, and then we'll still do a $200 buyout on top, or payout on top. Like,
something to bring people to keep bringing the drivers back, and that's what. We're not. Unleashed Ohio's not the only one that's running into that situation, but the ideas are there. But like you said, it's to get everybody on board to make it continuous and help grow it is what's the problem.
If I'm paying $25 to $50 for a buy-in, another $10 ain't gonna kill me. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? And it'll make it a lot more fun and a lot more competitive at the end of the year. And it gives these guys a lot more of a driving factor to go. Like, shout out to my boy Michael Wytek in here. That man is on Facebook. He's trying to race as much as he can this week. He's been on Facebook the last couple races, just shouting out like, hey guys, I'm a fellow racer. I want to try to do some more out of town races this year. He doesn't care if you're grass or ash. You know what I mean? He's like, let's help each other get there. Can you help me with some parts, or let's sponsor some fuel? And he's really good about, like, he went out there this weekend and he's done a good little bit of social media posts and stuff like that. Like, I feel like racing should support racers, not foot the bill, not build their truck. But I feel like if we're driving 6 hours out of town and then we get there and there's 5 trucks racing, all right, let's break up a little bit of the payout. Let's pay our guys so that they'll actually put on a show for our crowd and do it that way, because it's not just about racers and crews and all that. It's about the people watching. It's about the track promoters. It's all of it. Just like at Dennis Anderson's. I remember when back in the day, he would be out there cutting the bean field for more spectators at some mud bogs, and then at others, you could throw a football into the grandstands and miss anybody. You know what I mean? Because there's not many people there. And I feel like a big way in supporting that isn't just focusing on how do we get fans, how do we get racers. It's all in all, how do we support the sport? You know what I mean? Like, and
that goes on, and not only in our sport and everything, it just goes across the board in any of the motorsports. I mean, but for us as tough truck racers, mega truck racers, if we don't have the platform and the support, not only just from ourselves but from the outside too, we ain't gonna have shit to be able to do.
Exactly.
Morgan, thank you for being in the chat tonight, man, and I will see you Thursday night, buddy.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I ain't too far from him, man. I only got about 5-10 minutes left in me.
Nope, you're good, man. We can go ahead and you got any sponsors and stuff you want to shout out? We'll go ahead and start wrapping up now, Bubba, because I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So
we'll start out with a little bit of cocky and arrogance. My number one sponsor is myself. My name's Phil. I'm PJ Services. We do equipment repair and land management here in the state of Virginia. We support everybody in northeastern North Carolina all the way up to about Norfolk, Virginia, and all the way over to Suffolk. My next big sponsor, I got to say, is Pungo Off-Road. They've helped me out with a lot of shocks, springs, everything. Berserker Motorsports. He's helped me do my cage. He helps me get to races all the time. That I couldn't tell you how many times he's footed the gas bill for me or the hotel bill. Love you, Brad. Appreciate you. Misty Rose Photography. She's always getting the great shots. My buddy Donovan with this is kind of a long list, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna run down it pretty quick though.
You're good.
My buddy
man.
Donovan with All Out Pressure. My buddy Logan Dixon with Oceanside Construction. Talent Fab. He cuts out all my tabs, all my frame plates, everything like that. He is great help to the team. We couldn't do a lot of the Mega Truck projects or any of that stuff that we do without him. T&L Lawn Care, my buddy Trey, he's always throwing a couple dollars in the mix for the year to get us to and from the races and, to help us get started when the winter time's running slow.
Oh, yeah.
Man, supports the business, brings me all of his equipment in my slowest times, and I can't appreciate him anymore for that. Obviously, my dad and everybody for helping me out. Oh, Back Bay Auto, John Such for making me fast. He's always helping me get fast. I know I'm missing somebody somewhere, and I don't want to be that guy. So, Chris Weiss, Wheezy Graphics, he helps me out. He's cut all these stickers on the side of the truck, as you can see.
Nice.
And I said Pungo Off-Road. Well, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's everybody who's hopped on board.
I'll be honest with you, man, and it's awesome to have those people because they're all local businesses and stuff. That's what makes it even sweeter is because it's small business. So it's
got to give a big shout out. My buddy Mark Keskey with Trustmark LLC. I'll get to Maddie. He came in at the beginning when I was building my truck, and I told him I was getting into racing, and he's like kind of a second dad to me. He's like, yo, man, let me know anything you need to get you started. I was like, look, man, I've already got the seat. I've already got the roll cage. I was like, I'm having a little bit of trouble because it was midwinter time biting off a $500 Simpson hybrid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My buddy Kyle, my fiance's best friend's husband, he had just gotten out of circle track racing. Also, shout out to Maddie, my fiance. She's the best. Comes to pretty much every race with me, supports me, takes all the videos for me so I can watch my runs before I go out and run again, tracks my times, does all of it, and puts up with mine and Brad's bullshit 24/7 of me, coming home late, doing that whole nonsense. So big shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Love her to death. Couldn't do it without her. We're actually getting married next year. 7/11/27.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. But where was I going right before that? Sorry.
I don't even remember now. I got sidetracked with you announcing.
My buddy shout out to my buddy Kyle. He was getting out of racing, about to get married, so he wanted to take a break for a little bit, and he told me I could buy his hybrid that only had 3 races on it for $350. I could have bought it, but my buddy Mark, I told him, I was like, hey man, I found this hybrid. He's like, how much is it? I told him the price, and he said. He didn't even say anything. He said, okay, that's cool. I got you. And he said, I got to go. As soon as he hangs up the phone, I get a little picture of an envelope hiding up under his doormat. And he's like, hey, man, go get your Hans device. I want you to be as safe as possible. I don't need any shout outs. I don't need any stickers. I need nothing.
Oh, my goodness.
I just want you to be happy and safe. And I was like, man, you're the shit for that. And all the time. Just
Hell
like
yeah,
Brad, man. We got a shop up there in Castleton. We keep mine and his mega truck in there. We're building mine. We keep up with his. We actually got a couple cool projects in there right now. Our buddy Brandon Vincent, old gravedigger driver. We're building him a 2.5-ton Blazer, kind of not mocking or matching or anything, but he said he wants something kind of Live Aquila style, Twitty and Twitty's son. He wants something off that. So we're gonna throw them together, something like that. We got a little lower half the chassis going together. We're actually about to put the body on top of it as soon as Brad gets back and get back rolling on that. And then we got an S10. We're LS swapping for the street, but it does super street down at Dennis's as well. He drives it to the Mud Bog, our buddy Alan Grissom, and drives it home with his kids, man. He loves it.
Nice.
Track, runs super street passes in this little V6 S10 on 10 bolt, and I think it's got half tons in it, if I'm not mistaken. Brad, solid axle swapped it and did everything to it. And man, we just try to have a good time, help all of our buddies out, and make a little bit of money along the way.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate all my sponsors and stuff like that. And I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but appreciate all you, and I couldn't do it without any of you guys.
Well, I appreciate you, man. You have a great week. Good luck this racing season. Good luck this racing season, and maybe this after season's over and everything else, we'll get back together. I'll definitely keep up with you in messages and stuff, man. I'm gonna pick your brain on these XJs for the set lineups a little better than what it is. But thank you again. I appreciate you so much.
Let me know. Maybe we can shoot for a North versus South recap later on.
Definitely. Appreciate you once again. You have a good evening. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down for the night.
Talking to you, man.
You have a good night, sir.
Later, guys.
Later.
Everybody, Philip Hall Jr., thank you all in the chats and everything tonight. Brad, I cannot wait till you get to come home and get some racing in underneath. I'm going to definitely try to have it when you do come up. I would love to have you, Philip, and Josh all together. We can have all three of you up here on the show. Everybody in the chatters box, thank you for the support and stuff. Make sure you smash that like, share, and subscribe for here. This Thursday night, I will have Morgan. He works for Matt Motorsports. He will be on the show. I am really looking forward to this. We've been talking back and forth for the last week and stuff. We got some pretty cool stuff that he wants to talk about and everything. And we may that night have a few surprises for you guys. We will see. You'll have to tune in Thursday night at 8:00. Tomorrow night on the network is a free night. Glick is off for the night and everything else. It's his daughter. It's his daughter's birthday and everything else. So we are not going to have those shows on here. And then we're back Wednesday night for Glick's Comedy Lounge. I'm brain dead as usual when it comes to the guests. And then, of course, Thursday night, we will be back here on Speedway Stories with Morgan on here from Matt Motorsports. Friday night, I'm still kind of in the air. We'll see what's going on. If things fall in place, I may do Wally's Motorsports World, do some shop talk Friday night for a little while. But I'm going to possibly work on the rough truck a little more. Got a couple months to get it ready for the first race. And then Saturday is Nonsensical Nonsense. It's the main stable of this show. We dropped the link in the comments and everything. Come up, hang out, have a good time, shoot the shit. And then Sunday should be Behind the Veil, maybe. They've been working on getting information and stuff for it. It's about the haunted houses, mansions, all this stuff. Glick and Kayla show. And then Monday on Speedway Stories. It's actually for May 4th. I will have Josh on the show, which is one of Philip's buddies and Brad's buddies, will be on the show to talk about his racing career and everything else. So you guys stay tuned. Like I said, all the shows and stuff are in the links down on the bottom. If you want to support, we got the Cash App there. Thank you all again for tuning in. I appreciate everybody. Johnny, once again, of course, brother, I appreciate you co-hosting as always. You guys have a good.
Thank you.
You guys all have a good evening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
See ya.